Hey guys, welcome to another video on Jonathan and Riley. Obviously this is just a video with just me again. Jonathan's not in town yet. He'll be here next Thursday, which I'm filming this on Saturday, so that'll be in 5 days if my math is correct. Math is hard, right? Anyways, I've just been kind of hanging out today, and I had this idea in my head for a couple of days now to do a video for you guys about how to find the one and how to know that he is the one. That was something that I really struggled with probably from the time until I was about 16 to 19, and I met Jonathan when I was 19, so about 3 years. Some people struggle with it for 15 years or even 30 years, you know. It just depends on whatever your plan is for your life and whatever God has for you. So let's jump right in. I'm going to tell you guys 5 steps on how to find the one and how to know that he is the one. The first point is to stop looking and just don't leave, because I know this sounds crazy, but you just trust me, The moment I stopped looking, like literally the moment that I stopped looking for Jonathan is whenever he came into my life. I just feel like whenever you stop looking, that's when you really show that you're confident in yourself and you've gotten rid of every insecurity, and it's just you're a whole person. I stopped looking not because I was upset or devastated or whatever. It's just because I was like, I am fine with who I am, and I don't need a guy in my life to make me feel better, because I'm fine with where I am in my life. And I had gone through a super lonely season. I started college, and I kind of disconnected myself from a lot of my high school friends just because they weren't the best influences. And I just really took my freshman year of college to just get rid of all my insecurities. It was so bad. Whenever I was in high school, I never thought of myself as pretty or, you know, the right size, and, you know, the list goes on. Everybody has insecurities, and that lonely season really allowed me to find myself, and I'll talk about that later. Anyways, that's when I stopped looking, because I just really relied on God, and I felt like that's what he was calling me to do. So the moment you stop looking is the moment that you need to start preparing yourself for you to be a wife. Even though I wasn't worried about who I was going to marry or worried about starting to date him, I did want to prepare myself to be a better woman, not for my future husband, but just for God. And I did a plan called the Proverbial Girl Plan on YouVersion. And it goes through Proverbs 31, and it says everything that a godly woman should be. And I literally did that a week before Jonathan and I's first date. It was so cool. Anyways, tip number 2, actually that's 4, just 2. We're getting to 4 later. Is to stop worrying and stop complaining. This is kind of the same thing as just stop looking. Like, if you are single, I get it. It's so lonely and it's so hard to be single, especially when all your friends have boyfriends and fiancés and husbands and kids and the whole 9 yards, and you just want to be so bitter and so upset that you don't have that. But the thing is that you're never going to get it if you're never okay with who you are and where you're at in your life in the first place without the things that you want. You have to learn how to be happy where you're at in your life, unless you will be miserable. That is something that my dad has drilled in my brain, and I've learned it. I've felt that feeling of loneliness, and just, you know, you just long for your husband, and you know, but instead of like calling your friend and being like, oh, I'm so single and I just want a husband because it will fix all my problems. Well, let me tell you something. Relationships are hard. You will fight with your future husband, and that is healthy, but it's also not fun. So just stop worrying and stop complaining, and worry about yourself, and just love yourself. Don't worry, don't complain. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get married one day, and you're gonna have 1,000 kids or no kids or 1 kid, whatever you want, 1,000,000 dogs. I would love to have 1,000,000 dogs. Anyways, we're moving on to step number 3. This is my favorite one. This is like the most fun. This one is like fun. It's not like, oh, I have to do this, like I have to apply this to my life. This one's fun. Number 3 is to make a list. I don't know if you've never heard this before, but if you haven't, pay really close attention because this works. So I don't know when I made this list. I think it was, no, I do know when I made this list. It was after I got out of a super toxic, awful relationship, and I had just really rededicated my life to God. And I was like, I told God, I am not going to date another person until I find my future husband, until you tell me that I'm marrying this guy, and then I'll start dating him. So between that toxic relationship and Jonathan, I dated nobody. That was probably about like a year and a half where I didn't date anybody. So in that time, I made a list of what I wanted, and I will tell you what those things included. It included a God-loving man, obviously attractive, tall. I love tall and skinny guys, and that's exactly what I got. Jonathan's skinny and he's tall. I wanted good hair. Who doesn't want good hair, obviously? What else? Okay, this is so weird, but I wanted tattoos. Jonathan has a lot of tattoos, and he didn't when we first met. He just had one when we first met, but I mean, it was still like one tattoo, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Came from a good family. What else? Oh, it was music, that he was musically inclined, and Jonathan's very musically inclined, and so I got very blessed with that. Anyways, that's about the gist of my, I mean, funny, like, you know, all that stuff. Anyways, but I just thought of that, so I had to say it. That's about the gist of my list that I made, and I didn't write it down. I just kind of thought about it in my head, and even I even prayed over it. You know, God, like, I want these things in my husband. You know, I want to be attracted to him. I want him to be funny and make me laugh, and da 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 da. So, I really prayed over that, and it's so crazy, because wouldn't you know that Jonathan has everything that was on my list plus some. So I said that this video is about how to find the one and how to know that he is the one. Number 3, make a list, is the key to knowing if he's the one or not. If he's missing just one thing on that list, then nope, he's not it. Number 4, this one to me was the most important thing in my journey of finding Jonathan, and it's to find yourself. That's the 4th thing, is to find yourself. If you haven't heard this before, hear me now. You can't go into a relationship being half of a person. Now, what does that mean? I'll give you an example. Whenever I was heading into college, I was most definitely half of a person. I was insecure. I was not confident in who I was. I wasn't happy. And that season of loneliness made me a whole person because it made me tougher. So how do you become a whole person? For me, it was really developing a deep relationship with God, which is something that I had never done before in my life. I've always been in church. I've always had like a relationship with him, but I never took the time to like understand him, or try at least to understand him and to try to reciprocate the love that he has for me. So I mean, every morning before classes, just about every morning, I would read my Bible, I would pray, and just those 2 simple things got me to where I needed to be a whole person. You can't go into a relationship being half a person, because then you're gonna expect your future husband or your boyfriend or whatever to complete you, and that's not a thing at all. The reason is because nobody's perfect. Jonathan can't complete me, because if I want to hear that I'm pretty all the time, he can't read my mind. He can't make me feel pretty no matter how many times he says it, because I'm the only one that controls that power, that I know I'm pretty. And yeah, it's nice for your future husband to tell you that, but he doesn't need to identify you as pretty, because you should already identify yourself as pretty. That's just an example of half versus whole. You have to like tell yourself, I'm smart, I'm pretty, I'm good enough, and that's the thing that's going to make you a whole person. And the biggest thing is that complete love, perfect love, only comes from God. It comes from nobody else but him, because we're humans and we make mistakes. Jonathan is going to argue with me sometimes, and that's okay, because he's not perfect. But God will never argue with me, because he's God, obviously. So I just want you guys to be very clear on the fact that you cannot go into a relationship as a half person. It won't work. I've tried it so many times, and it's not a real thing. Anyways, moving on to number 5. Number 5 is I've been saying that all of these are the most important, but they're all important. Number 5 is don't settle, okay? Do not settle. You made your list. If he is not tall and skinny, if he doesn't have good hair, if he's not funny, if he doesn't have one tattoo, he is not the one for you, okay? I didn't settle, so I don't know how it is to settle, but I can only imagine that I would be I think I would be regretful if I settled, honestly. I know I'm not settling with Jonathan because he has everything on my list plus some, but just wait it out. If he's not the one, then don't force it. If you have to force it, then he's not the one for you. I hope you guys like understood what I was saying. I'm just so passionate about it because I know how many single girls there are out there, and you just feel hopeless and like sad and lonely, and you just want somebody like to kiss you and stuff. But I promise you, just apply these 5 things to your life and stay true to them. You know, don't just do it for a day, do it for a year. And if it doesn't work by that year, keep working at it, you know? Everything works in God's timing. I tell people all the time that like, I could have never imagined a better human for me than Jonathan. And he says the same thing about me. So, no, I'm just kidding. Stop looking, stop worrying and complaining, make a list, find yourself, and don't settle. I promise these will work. Just be patient and don't get ahead of yourself because, you know, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for like watching this and taking the time out of your day to come to my channel and click on this video and watch it. I hope that you liked it, because if you did, please give it a good thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. I love you guys so much, and no, I don't have highlighter on my face. This light is just really bright, so sorry about this like greasiness. It's not greasy. My face is really dry, I promise. So anyways, I'll see you guys really soon. Jonathan will be here so soon, and we'll be posting so many videos, so don't miss it. Bye!